question Dennis and I often get is, it's almost like it's a four-letter word. What is probate? And at the end of the day, at least in Illinois, probate is a system for disposing of people's estates, both their personal and real property, either with or without a will. The underlying notion of probate is that you put the world on notice that you've passed away, primarily for your creditors to be able to file claims against your estate, not the least of which could be the state or federal tax authorities. And creditors have 6 months to come in and lodge any claims against the estate, at which point, if there's enough funds, claims can be paid out and the residuary of the estate can go to the beneficiaries. If you die without a will, the court then has a statutory scheme in Illinois. It's very linear by way of descendants. Who gets the benefits if you die without a will? It could be a spouse, it could be children, brothers and sisters, depends on how we look at the example of a tree, right? How far out do the branches go? And it just depends on, frankly, how many people you have in your family, how many can be tracked down. And ultimately, if you can't track down any beneficiaries, Dennis, do you know what happens to the residuary of the estate?
No.
It's a term of art, and I'll save you 3 years of law school. It escheats to the state of Illinois. So for those of you that think like I do, that you don't want to give the government any more than you need to by way of your treasury, at a minimum, you should have a will to avoid the state from getting whatever funds you have. Even better, you should have a trust-based estate plan so that we can avoid probate altogether.
Yeah, the other thing about probate that I tell families when I'm meeting with them after a death is it's not the end of the world. Ultimately, a lot of people think it's the end of the world. It's a terrible, terrible thing. It's certainly something that you want to avoid, just from if you can, just from a cost standpoint and a time standpoint. However, in a lot of cases, probate actually makes the administration of the estate relatively simple. There's just some waiting periods and some expense that you incur that with some trust planning or beneficiary planning could have otherwise been avoided. But probate often gets sold as, the most terrible thing to ever happen, and I just disagree with that a little bit.
It's a statutory process. We can guide clients through. The great majority of our clients, when we have to probate an estate, it goes very smoothly. We often have a will. And even in cases when we don't have a lot of creditors. And it's not, people think of probating an estate like when somebody dies in Hollywood and oh my goodness, people are going to fight over, like Michael Jackson's estate, even though I'm told there was a will, or Prince's estate, and this stuff gets dragged through the tabloids. For the average person, spoiler alert, that doesn't really happen. It's just a statutory process of working through, paying claims, if any, and then getting the funds to the right people according to the statute or according to the will at the end of the day.